Alright, so first things first, I want to ask you guys to subscribe and like the video because currently only 4.5% of you guys are subscribed to my channel. 95.2% aren't subscribed. So liking and subscribing would be greatly appreciated. And at 1,000 subscribers, we are making a Discord server, so look out for that if you're interested. Alright, into the video. I'm just going to start by going through the FAQ. So first we're going to begin with access costs. The game will cost 400 Robux at release and will always be paid access. Race rerolls like Rogue Lineage are purchased by using Robux, but you do not have to pay for other aspects of character customization. So that's probably like the accessories you put on your characters, like you might already have some, or you just buy accessories in game. There may be cosmetic items you can purchase in the future. There's a greater degree of customization available for characters than in our previous games, and you can also purchase character slots, which are elaborated upon further in the FAQ. So, character slots are pretty much like the race rerolls, I suppose. Like, you just buy a new slot to play on, so you don't have to have alts. You just buy a new character slot and you can play on that on the same account. That's really nice, something that Rogue Lineage lacked, but some other games had, like the Vast Realm. The Vast Realm had character slots, and that was a really nice thing that they had. Character slots work by starting with one character slot, but you can purchase more for a price lower than the game's original price. So each slot has its own data, including race. Your guild is per account, though. Yeah, you just pay for rerolls by doing that, unless there's a way to reroll in-game on the same account, which there probably is, but it might be more cost-effective to just have different character slots, because then you could just play on different saves instead of, you know, having a different race on one save. Alright, so how will the wiping system work? While we won't go over specifics, there's a system to allow you to pass down 2 items to your next character to help you get started faster on your next build. We think the wiping system in Deepwoken is simultaneously more forgiving and more challenging. This one's pretty hard to speculate on because it could be anything. Actual items, magic stats, or simple things like flint and steel or a starter weapon of choice are among the many things that you could choose. So how does spell/skill creation work in Deepwoken? The spell creation system is unique and requires you to interact with the world around you in order to make the moves you want. You will not be making skills from a menu. Again, it's hard to talk about since they haven't told us much, but assuming there isn't a menu, I would say you get different modifications by exploring the world. As an example, you have a basic fireball attack, but find some sort of shrine which lets you use finger pistols, which shoot many faster, small fireballs. Alright, so next up is how long does progression take? There is a decent mix of short-term progression gains to make you feel like you're getting more powerful, but also systems in place that allow you to feel like you're always progressing over a long period of time. What this basically means is that instead of going straight from superclass to ultraclass, you steadily gain more power through stats. It isn't an instant jump from weak to strong, and instead is a more progressive curve. This is nice because that means someone's strength isn't limited to their class they have until reaching the requirements for the next step. Are there developer events in Deepwoken? Yes, following release we would like to run some public events, examples being things like tournaments. I mentioned in a previous video that RAG wanted to give out permanent items for those who win tournaments, so this still seems like it's happening. Other than that, developer specs like Lannis and Tal from Rogue are probably going to make a comeback in Deepwoken. Similar to this, developers might hand out special titles or specs to people who do important things, such as discovering special areas first. How will islands not lag in Deepwoken? We are using Roblox's streaming system that loads in the map gradually over time in order to allow for a much larger map with as little lag as possible. So basically, when you spawn in, everything isn't loaded yet. You and nearby objects will be, but further away, things such as non-visible islands will load in gradually in an attempt to reduce lag when you first join. This might also not load faraway objects in until you get close enough so that you won't lag so much, allowing them to make larger maps with more content. Will bad things happen at sea? All it says is yes. So from what we know, pretty much just like sea monsters and pirates that attack your ship while you're sailing. Deepwoken will not intentionally have one-shots, and if anything ends up being unbalanced, they'll just patch it. Don't need to really do any explaining there. Am I locked into PvE/PvP? No, both options are viable and encouraged. Killing players at and above your level will reward you, but you won't get much in the way of rewards from weaker players. Don't expect this to protect you as a fresh bond, since people will just do it for fun, but what this means is that you might only get XP from PvP if the enemy player is greater than or equal to your own power level. Will the game be more cooperative? Yes, but only if you want it to be. Is there alignment? No, your standing in the world is determined by your reputation with the different factions within it. Doing good deeds for factions or committing crimes in their territories will affect your reputation with them. This one kind of goes without saying, but if you build up trust with a certain guild just to steal, for example, a shipment of goods, then they would be significantly more cautious towards you, and maybe even attack you on sight. Is there a safe mode so players can't grip you? No, you will always be in danger of being gripped. However, towns have it in their best interest to keep order. Don't expect to get away lightly with your crimes. Basically what this means is towns are guarded, and if you cause any trouble, they're bound to come over and destroy you. If you log out at sea on a boat, will you spawn back in with your boat? Yes, and you'll be able to spawn on allied ships. So, allied ships are probably just like allied organizations, so if I were to log out at sea, I could possibly choose to spawn on an allied ship that's currently spawned in, or something like that. New races may be added in content updates, and races are not key to your build, as much as it was in Rogue at least. You can progress with your friends, and there are systems that help you play the game similar to Rogues. Alright, now when we get into some more interesting topics. Are the Deepwoken NPCs going to be on the same level as Rogues, or more difficult to play against? The NPCs and bosses in Deepwoken are a lot more thought out in design and should be a lot more fun and fair than in Rogue, while not lacking in challenge. We think that the NPCs will challenge your skills more whilst not forcing you to rely on cheese strats. With this said, expect a lot smarter enemies which will block your attacks and be a challenge to overcome. Hopefully they will be fought fairly, since in Rogue every enemy is cheesable, such as zombie screams which can't even jump over the small ledge while you're farming them. How will hairs or accessories work? It copies your Roblox avatar's hair accessories, but not any others. You'll be able to get glasses and any other accessories as in-game equipment that match the game's style. And there are going to be world events. World events can be something like the E-Trains doing a raid on a city, and if you help them it would increase your standing with them along with a reward of some kind. These events can be small, like in Agamatsu's video, we saw him helping a nomad tribe being attacked. There will be around 25 players in a server, and it will change based off how much they can optimize things, but it should only increase from there. And at release, there will be 2 separate worlds you can explore. One world is nearly twice the size of Gaia, and the other is half the size of Gaia. There are some islands that have been fully built that won't be in the game at release, but will be added in future content updates. I'll talk about how you can switch worlds later. And then Raguzer says, will Deepwoken have any cool powers and abilities outside of spells? Yes. These are probably things like powers you gain from finding secret areas. A good example of this would be White Flame Charge from Rogue. At least that's what I think he is confirming by this. And now, arguably the biggest part of the list. The game will be releasing in fall of 2021. Fall starts September 22nd and ends December 21st, so it's still quite a while away. Plus, he might mean it comes out during fall, so he could release it in December, although it's probably sooner than that. In the second document, Raguzer leaked 8 photos of the game, and we're going to go over them. So first is the shrine photo. The description here tells us that it's used for world traveling. I don't know how it could connect to life and death, so if you have any ideas, comment them below. But assuming the person is on Etria and wants to go back home to Etris, Etris is probably in the other world, because the shrine is the only way back to that place. This monster is what looks to be a boss, since it's much stronger looking and has a unique design. He says he can't even land a scratch on it, so you probably want a higher power level before fighting it. Gliders have durability, and you can't repair them. You can only craft new ones. The crafting system lets you make stuff while on your way, so you don't need to go to a town, for example, to get certain repairs and items. Here we see that factions have their own unique places of residence, so they probably have like little sections of islands that they can have to themselves, or entire small islands to themselves. Here we learn you must choose a ship and customize it based off your needs. A big ship lacks maneuverability and wouldn't fit through small gaps, but a small ship sinks easily, so it's up to you when buying one. Some islands have unique mobility options to assist you in exploring, such as zip lines on Miner's Landing. And finally is this photo. This is probably a power-giving structure that gives enough to rule an empire. Really cool, but one thing I did notice was that the character was wearing a bell. What it is used for, I don't know, but it's confirmed.